build room, and I have the first of these. I have the first of the 2 bracket transmissions that are from Wisconsin. They race at the Grove, and they have, each one of them have an AMC. They're both 727s. This first one I'm doing is, I believe it's like a mid to low 12-second car that runs down the track. The other one, I believe, runs mid-10s. So I'm going to just go over a few things that I'm looking at that I like and I don't like, and let you know what we found in this particular transmission. So Tommy took this all apart, and right now the case in the tail housing is in the back room getting painted and prepped. Then it'll come up here. So I don't know the lever ratio. But he does have the thicker heavy duty band strut in this. This is the boyfriend's car. The girlfriend's car is the 10-second one. So yeah, the girl's going much quicker. It does have a TCS billet drum. It's the same one that I sell. The billet piston. It has a 875 rear billet piston to take up the slack between the Bellevue spring and for the rear drum. It's got a no name. There's no name on this valve body. I looked. It is a reverse manual. It does have low band apply. I see it's got the stock pressure regulator spring, which I don't know why they didn't. Whoever built this, they put a real big one in for the converter charge, but they used the stock one for the pressure regulator. They just got it cranked up, and I see no name anywhere. It's got these red dots, this red paint all over it. It basically is a cheetah design. A lot of companies out there go off the cheetah design. I don't though. Mine's unique to but I don't see no name on the valve body anywhere, on a separator plate, on the upper or lower. So I don't know who's the manufacturer of this valve body. And it looks like it should be all right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up, flat sand it, polish all the valves, and then I'm going to put one of my, let me lower it so you can get this in the camera. I'm going to put one of my pressure regulator valve, springs in there so it has a little bit pressure. What I did find, I got to reset this again. Sorry. The forward clutches were in really good shape. They're Red Eagle smooth clutches with choline steels. And even though some of the choline is worn, that's perfectly normal. This forward clutch is in good shape. However, the direct clutch for third gear and reverse, it got a lot of heat. And they got a little bit of a mix hodgepodge of stuff in here. They got smooth clutches and then groove clutches. So I don't know if they didn't have enough or what they were trying to achieve there. And then they got one choline, or all the cholines in one steel, but one stock steel. Yeah, there's 2 thin clutches, 2 62 thousandths clutches, and 3 90 thousandths clutches. I'm going to put GPZs in here. They're all going to be 083 or 084 in this pack. And I'm not going to use cholines in this pack because for whatever reason, let me check it. A lot of times, choline steels drag in this drum. And they already got some outer teeth marks on it. So I'm going to polish up that drum. Put some GPZs in there. It's got a 4-pinion aluminum front and a 3-pinion aluminum rear. I'll probably upgrade this to a 4-pinion rear. For a 12-second car, I don't know how heavy it is. Once you start creeping into the 11s, the aluminum planetary splines could start being an issue. But I think that they'll be okay on this one. I'm going to call them and ask them again before I put this together, just to see how fast the car is. It's got a billet accumulator with the D rings on one side and Teflon rings on the other, with a blocker rod. There's nothing wrong with that. But this goofy thing, I do not use these at all. This servo is a smaller diameter here, which makes this apply area larger, and that gives second gear a much nicer shift, even though you got to overcome this massive return spring. But what happens is, because second gear has more surface oil, then when it shuts off, it goes down to apply for second, and then goes back up in the case to shut off for third. This always becomes an issue with overlap. Guaranteed. Whenever I get these front servos in, I never ever put them back in. They're just an overlap waiting to happen. So I'm going to run my billet servo, and it has 2 springs. It's based off the Chrysler 62 to 70 front servo with dual rings. This is just, don't ever use this one. As far as the low reverse servo, someone put a billet one in here. I kind of got mixed feelings about this. They moved the seal up, and it's got a sealing ring and a lip seal. There ain't nothing going to get past that sealing ring, that lip seal. So why they put a sealing ring up here, I don't know. But if you ever check a low reverse servo on a 727 or a 904, it probably is the best air checking piece on the whole transmission. You can give it a shot of air, and it'll hold for like a minute. So I think that's a little not needed. Plus, it's got way too big of a return spring. I mean, it'll make for a nice clean one too, but it had the stock retainer. And when you use a big, huge spring on this, return spring with the stock retainer, you're guaranteed it's just going to push it out. So I would like to replace both of these servos with mine. I'll make upgrades to the valve body. I'll put the GPZs in there. Also, the low reverse band was in really good shape. There was nothing wrong with that. But the second gear band also, it's a heavy duty Kevlar band. It also took some heat. So we're gonna straighten up that overlap issue. We're gonna get that overlap out of there by getting rid of this servo and then making sure it doesn't have a 5.0 lever. I don't know what lever it's in it right now, because Tommy's got the case in the back of the shop, and he's prepping it. So, but other than that, oh, it also had a cone sprag in it, and some of the springs were a little funky. One of them popped off, which is no big deal. So I'm probably gonna put a brand new spring and roller kit in here for the sprag. And you can tell it's a cone because they use these shoulder bolts to bolt it in. There's no name on the sprag either, but I can tell it's a cone. So that's about it for this one. We'll well, I'll get this thing together and make the changes that I want to change, and we'll get the other one apart, and then I'll show you guys, because they brought us 2 transmissions from Wisconsin. They race at Union Grove, and we'll get the other ones apart, or the other one apart, and see what her transmission looks like. All right, we're going to be on Trance 2 for the AMC. This is going to be the 10-second one that the girl drives. It's kind of funny that the girl's going faster than the guy, but hey, she's out there racing, so if you guys ever go out to the Grove and see those 2 AMCs out there kicking ass, go up to them and congratulate them and say, hey, we like your cars, and we saw you on the CRT channel. So anyways, we got the case prepped. I didn't go through that just yet, but I'm going to go through a few things that I got on the transmission side, just to show you what was inside this transmission. It has a light sun shell without the holes. It looks like it's been shaved, I don't know, 40, 50 thousandths maybe. So that's one way of lighting it. I've seen that before, and it's cool. You know, it doesn't take, I don't know how much it takes off when you shave it, that little with no holes, but it is a light and sun shell. It's got the stock rear drum. We have the billet front drum. It's a TCS, the same one we sell with the billet piston. The clutches that were in the front drum were All-O-Matic stage 1s. And they look really good. They just have one slight burn mark on the one side, and then one on the other. We're doing a freshen up, even though these clutches will probably last another couple years bracket racing. We're just going to go ahead and put some new ones in there. And then the rear clutch I found kind of weird. I believe what they did is someone took off the material of a clutch, and I think they used it for a shim. So, because that's a clutch, but with no material on it. And the rest of the clutches are just bone stock clutches. Nothing special about them. They had stock steel. So I'm going to put a set of Colleen steels in here with a set of GPZ forward clutches. Now, servos. They had a stock 71 and up servo. There's nothing wrong with that. It's way better than the red one. I see it has my low reverse servo in it, which is good. It's got a 16 element overrunning clutch, the drag sprag. Even though I didn't look at the case. I don't know if that's mine or someone else's. I'll have to see. The stator was kind of done pretty neat, a little bit different the way I do it. They milled all the way around the whole circumference for more oil flow, which is fine. However you want to do it, as long as you add more oil to that. I see that the planetary system has been machined for bearings, and he's running 3-pinion front and a 3-pinion rear. And they're doing this for weight savings, rotating mass savings. So I am not going to upgrade this to anything billet or anything. I do have to check and see how the splines fit on this inside to make sure we have a tight fit, so they don't have no problem stripping these out on the output shaft. In due time it will, but if it's tight, I'll leave it alone. It's got a stock low reverse band. I mean, a stock OEM one that seems better days. So we're gonna put a black carbon band in there. And this, I've never seen a rear roller support like this before. This is, I mean, it worked. That's fine. It uses the same bearing that I use, but they don't push the bearing down in the support as deep as I do. And when you do that, then you have to machine this. And then that's the structure This is where the splines are for the output shaft. So as you see where let me get that in there. Where they have it in there, they had to do that in order to fit. With mine, you don't, because I put it in further. And the way they do their oiling is a little different. You run mine, you have to run sealing rings on here, and that keeps the oil in here, down there, then it goes through the bearing and out here for the drum. It's just a little bit different. This was working fine, so I'm not going to replace it. There's nothing wrong with it. I did notice again here that it has the governor on it. I'm going to replace that with a billet spacer. It does have this big old clunker band strut, which is fine. You know, I actually see these. I've seen these tips break off, but very rarely and only on diesels. So that should be fine. Now, the pump gear. Because this is a low 10-second car, these pump gear lugs on the inside do have a tendency to snap off. And what it does, it happens when people shut the car off or when they lift going through the finish line. And I'll take that stock gear and I'll open a set of my thick lug gears. I'll walk over to the torque converter and show you how that happens. So here we have the stock pump gear, the stock lugs, and our aftermarket thick lug pump gear with the lugs that are almost twice as thick. So we're at a converter here, and I'm going to show you what a stock set. Let me do this with my right hand. So when you're accelerating down the track, the pump gears are loaded this way. Then when you deaccelerate, the pump gears load that way. So look at this swing that you have. The momentum from here, from acceleration to deacceleration, is quick enough, especially in high compression motors, to snap these lugs right off. Also, what happens a lot of times when you're pulling the car into the trailer, or on the trailer, or wherever, and you're driving the vehicle, and then you shut it off, and sometimes the motor kicks back. It'll kick back and kick back again. They'll snap that way too. You can see the thick lugs take up much more space than that. And you know what? This is a diesel converter, and I think these lugs are thicker than a gas. See? That's a diesel. So I don't remember my thick lugs being that loose. I'm going to have to go out. Let's go out and find a gas converter. All right, I'm out in the shop. I got a gas converter here, and the lugs are a lot smaller on gas than a diesel. See how little play that has? So these pump gears, I usually put them in anything 10-second or quicker, just to keep that from happening. And just to give you a quick look at the ProFlight that we have, it's got a band adjustment for a 904 and the stock one down there for the 727. That's how you can tell from the outside that the transmission's a ProFlight. They'll have the stock one adjustment here, and then the other one will be much higher up at a different angle. So that'll be our next video. It'll be very exciting to show you guys what's in a ProFlight. So those are the upgrades we're going to do to the transmission. I'm probably going to get going on this pretty soon and then let you guys know how it turned out when it's done. As I went to do the pump, I noticed the area where the front seal seats to was way thin. I mean, you look right there, it's super thin. And then I look and something got spun around in there. I don't know if a converter ballooned and failed or what, but this is what it's supposed to look like here. See this whole big piece, and the thickness of this is gone here. So I don't know a beaver got up in there or what the heck is going on. So I have to replace the front cover. There's just not enough meat here to my liking to hold that front seal in. Got both of the units done, the his and the hers, and they turned out nice. The one's a trans brake, the fast one for a trans brake. The one thing was odd though is this is the connector for the 12 volts, and usually the trans brakes grounded out to the valve body, but for some reason the ground is out here and then grounded to the case. Now normally I would clean that up, but if they ever wanted to use this trans brake with a bump box, then here is the ground right there. You just take that ground off and run it to the bump box. So I left it that way. I normally would clean that up. The vent in transmission number 2 is located up here. It's got a little connector to run a line up to a catch can. So I installed a plug on this transmission for them. They just had to remove the plug and install another fitting with the line to run a catch can on this transmission if they wanted. I did end up studding both oil pans. I really think that's a nice feature. I also ended up studding the stud for the trans mount on both of them. And the number 1 transmission, these were a little weak. I see that one person's already put in a helicoil, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with helicoils. I also, as I do on all my builds, I add the nice gold bolts to everything. On number 1 transmission, I tell you what, this thing had more strip bolts in it. It also had 3 stripped pump bolts holes in the case, and I was really concerned about this. I've never done this before, but I studded the pump, and then put the washers behind the polylock nuts. I like I said, I've never done that before, but I was just a little concerned about the rest of the bolts. I mean, unless you put helicoils in all of them, and this one up here really gave me some troubles. So that should make sure that the pump is in there flush and there are no leaks. And then on number 2 transmission, I did replace the pump cover. for the worn out pump, which is still on the floor over there, and I asked Tommy to throw it away twice. But who the hell's gonna listen to me anyways? So I have to do the paperwork on these 2 transmissions, figure out the grand total for them. I gave them a call, left a message. I didn't hear back from them yet, so maybe they're busy. I'll try them again after I get the invoices done. These 2 transmissions are ready to go and be ready to be picked up. As soon as I'm done finishing this editing of this video, I have that Pro Flight out in the shop that you guys are really going to enjoy that video. It's not going to be a how-to. This one wasn't a how-to. It's just kind of to give you folks at home like a little behind the scenes of what we do here at the shop. I'm still not in full accepting all jobs as far as rebuilding transmissions on a level. I pick and choose. And my reasonings for pick and choosing is because I'm still the only builder here. I'm the only person doing like majority, 95% of stuff here, and I'm kind of digging it. I'm kind of liking it that way. I don't have to babysit, so everything is not making millions of dollars all the time. There has to be a little, room for life enjoyment. I mean, I was always a hard worker. I don't know. I paid my dues. I know I'm only 60, but I don't know. It's nice not to have the stress. The stress that comes along with it sucks. So I'm very picky and very choosy. And I mostly do local stuff. Someone that's in a local area instead of shipping transmissions all over the country. So, all right, well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked seeing AMC transmission number 1, AMC transmission number 2. I don't know if I'll have any more pictures or videos of these 2 cars by the time I edit this. If I do, they'll be here right now. If not, thanks for watching, and Mopar to you guys, or AMC to you guys. Goodbye.